not getting paid for it or anything?
No, we are getting paid from the government, because according to the Kuwaiti law, handicap law, the handicapped children, they have the right to learn and to educate, and the government supporting the handicapped children in the private sector, and we are one of the private sector in Kuwait. So we have part of our job is volunteer, and the other part is governmental.
Okay. What about the establishing of the nursery officially? When did it start?
2002. It was the official establishment.
That was the year you started.
Yeah, but I was volunteers. I was in the field from '97. From 97 to 2002, I was educating myself in this unique field, and I was developing myself before I started the field. I took a diploma with for the special need from London University. Then I started. So it was the push when I developed myself.
They have encouragement from the government side. We're not talking about the private sector, because you have to have some kind of support.
Well, the government, they are supporting us, but you know, still the private sector faster than the government, and because you know, it's a matter of the decision maker in the private sector. It's easy to take the decision and to develop yourself, but the government, you know, the procedure is long. They are supporting us by licensing our staff, leading us to the programs, and even educating the parent, all this time.
I want to focus on your program, but I want to go back to Mrs. Ashawa. Well, what about the main focuses and the agenda and the project for the long one here, UNDP?
Okay, this current project.
That's a long abbreviation.
It is. Our history was focusing, the first, when we started 2002, was on early learning disabilities, so identification and tools. Then we moved to early learning and disability challenges, so we expanded our focus. Now this year, and it was always working with civil society and some government entities. This phase, we're focusing on dealing with the Public Authority for the Disabled Affairs, inclusive of civil society and private sector. We consider ourselves always as partner. We work with all players in the field to make sure the consolidated effort will give us the impact that we need. So we work, we focus on three things basically on this project. The first one is the institutional effectiveness of the PADA itself. So we really want to help them with whatever technical expertise we can provide to help them achieve their goals. And the second one is inclusion, and inclusion that's in educational and in work, so in vocational training for the people with disability. Yeah. And the third one is on the accessibility. Accessibility is an issue in Kuwait, so we really want to support in having some kind of an assessment of all the country and how we can make it user-friendly for the disabled and other accessibility in buildings and roads and markets and whatever.
What about you, Mrs. Al-Mudahka? I believe that you have some kind of goals and agenda and programs for your nursery. What exactly are you talking about?
Well, our goals is to support the child and work with the child from the early intervention, because that will reduce the effect of the disability. Yeah. We have some children where we've been working with them for 3 or 4 years, and we are so proud that they could make it and they survive, and they challenge their disability. Even their disability has been changed. The diagnosis has been changed by the doctor.
You know, people or maybe countries, they prefer to call it with special needs, not disabilities. What do you think?
Well,
when you say disabled, that means that you are missing something. But when you
all of us, we have special needs.
All of us.
All of us, we have special needs.
I'm included.
I'm included.
What about you?
I'm included. I'm the first. Maybe we all have special needs. I prefer the special need.
That's much better.
Yeah,
that's why we have a report about how to raise the children who need the special needs and the others. Come back with us.
My name is Mary DeCivia. I'm a medical coder at Hendrick Medical Center in Abilene, Texas. I have a son named Keyshawn Thompson. He was born at 29 weeks. During that 29 weeks, he suffered a grade 4 brain hemorrhage. After the grade 4 brain hemorrhage, he was recovered, and now he suffers from cerebral palsy. And he has a VP shunt that runs from his head down to his stomach. And that is due to his stay. He started developing fluid in his brain. So in order to release the fluid, they had to go in and place this shunt, which drains the fluid out of the brain down into the stomach through a tube, and it's a waste, like when he urinates. Keyshawn receives physical therapy and occupational therapy. He receives physical therapy twice a week at school. He also receives it at West Texas Rehab. He receives occupational therapy only at school twice a week. Keyshawn has a walker that he uses at home and at school. It's to help him to transition to wherever he needs to go around the public, in the public, or at school. He has a wheelchair that we keep at school, and it helps the teacher transition him on long distances or when they go on their school outings. And he has a standing frame which strengthens his tendons, stretches his tendons in his legs. He has to be in that 2 hours a day. The hardship, it would be the physical labor that's encountered in a child with a disability. Transition him from one position to another position, wheelchair to chair, chair to wheelchair. And he only have little assistance in helping you. So the lifting is really hard, and trying to teach him things that's really hard for him to concept and trying to know the right approach. The joy of it, he's always happy. And if you're having a bad day and you're around, he's just gonna bring the joy out in you. My goal is to make sure that Keyshawn has the best life capacity of his disability to live, to have daily normal living skills, whether that's hygiening, having his own balance to transition himself without his wheelchair and walker, and anything that he can do independently. So independence is a big thing for me to look forward for his future.
Well, we were watching a very special report and about how to raise the people or maybe children who need special needs, and that's why we have two distinguished guests. And I believe that you need to have some tolerance and to have some kind of, we're not going to go more and beyond of the exertion, but you have to take it easy and give exactly what they need, because your needs and my needs are different, and sometimes I'm easier and sometimes you are easier than me. That does not mean that I have disabilities, correct? So what do you think?
طبعا it's that's what we say about advocacy and awareness. يعني in all our programs we focus on beside training the professionals on how to deal, for example teachers, we give them the educational tools how to deal with the disabled, because they learn in a different way. For example, the dyslexic, they just see the numbers different, so you have to teach them in a different way. We really focus on the parents and how they need to deal with their children, and how we also give them trainings, and they also need awareness, and they need acceptance, and they need to know how to deal. And it's not easy to understand what the disability is causing them to act in a certain way, or your way of dealing with them is not going to get you anywhere, because that's not how they. So this is all part of what we work on. The focus on awareness of everybody that's dealing with a disabled child will always get us better results at the end.
Mrs. Al-Mudahka, I think that people who are needing of special needs, it does not, concern, or maybe it's not focused only on children, probably adults too, because you might find two married couple, and maybe the male or female, I'm not going to be more specific, but one of them needs more attention, more affection. Therefore, the other side should sacrifice more for the relationship to be more prolonged and get longer. So what do you think?
That's right. Sometimes, not sometimes, all the times we focus on the parent, and usually you find one of the parents, he's more He's justifying himself for his child more than the others. But in other families, no, we see a wonderful couple. They are working together. They are supporting each other to survive with their child and to help their child in disability.
So mainly, it's not about the child. It's all about the family itself.
It's the family themselves, how they accept their child and how they pass the shock stage.
What about you, Mrs. Shaw? What do you think? Do we need to be more focused on the family more than the child itself?
It's a holistic package, of course. I mean,
it's a complete package.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You cannot separate this from that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it right and if you want to get the best results, I mean, look at all the disabled civil societies, for example. Most of them, if not all, they are parents of a disabled child. That's how it started. All the civil society and the NGOs and the non-profit organizations working in the field of disability, it's all started because of a parent who had a disabled child who didn't find the services he needs. And at the beginning, so lots of people, their children, they had to travel with them abroad and they had to treat them outside because the services was not here, not in education, not in civil society, not in training, not in evaluation, not in assessments. And the child would be called all kind of stuff. You're dumb, you're not smart, you cannot function. And he's very intelligent. They usually have very high IQs,
very high IQ.
more than the regular people, but because he learns in a different way. And that's why even as UNDP, we focused on producing documentaries that says I learn in a different way to show people and make them alert. So it's unless everybody understand what's going on and work together on it, that's how we gain success. Otherwise,
right.
Okay, Mrs. Al-Mudahkar, let us talk about the types of disabilities that you receive daily. Not daily, maybe monthly.
In fact, they are daily.
Daily?
Daily. We receive.
Well, I was right at the first time.
Yeah. We receive all kinds of disability. We have Down syndrome children, we have CP children, we have physical disability, we have autistic children, we have Asperger, we have deaf, we have deaf, and we have cochlear patient, and we have also sensorial disability, that people where they have problems.
No feelings? Nothing at all?
Yeah.
What's the worst? What's the worst case that you face every day?
Well, the worst case when the child is autistic and blind at the same time.
Blindness. That's the worst.
Yeah, the worst.
So they need more work, more exertion.
More work, more attention, more focusing. A lot of programs. You have to merge, maybe 6 or 10 programs to make their individual.
Do the parents give up on them? Say, I cannot deal with him or her, so you deal with him or her and we will meet you down the road, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now.
Well,
did it happen?
Sometimes it happens, but what we do, usually we sign a contract with the parent that you are part of our program. Your child is the first thing, the program, you are the second. We consider ourselves as a tools. We said we are the tools
helpers.
that will, no, even we don't say we are helpers. Sometimes they reject the help. We said for them, we are the tools. Your son will use us. So who will teach your son how to use the tools? You will teach your son or your child how to use us.
You mean that you are going to show them the way and they have to walk the walk and open the door and everything?
They are part from our program. They have main role in our program.
Otherwise, it's not going to be complete.
It's not going to be complete.
It's not.
Because the early child or the early intervention, you don't work with the child only 4 hours in the morning. You work in the morning, and the family should work in the house. It is continuous working. So they are part of our program.
This is a show. What do you think? You have some kind of a program, something else. Do you think that it's a complementary with them or not?
Again, what we focus on currently, for example, we work a lot with civil society. We would work with most of them, and we have very successful cooperation. In
the private sector,
the NGOs, in the past, we work a lot with, again, because UNDP is usually like a triangle. We are in the middle, connecting all the players and the stakeholders in the field: government, civil society and private sector. And then we play with everybody. We work with everybody who really is working on the field to coordinate the effort. We have a lot of duplication or not coordinated effort, which really lessens the effect. The more we work together, talk together, benefit from each other's experience. When we have a training, we invite everybody to come to the training. When we produce tools, we share the tools for everybody, because the benefit is what we gain, what we aim for. So we really we work with the government and the departments. We work with the Ministry of Education. We work with the Ministry of Health because of all this. It's very much related. A lot of the disability in Kuwait specifically is related to hereditary and because of social relations, marriage.
Yes.
So it's called. So we work with the Ministry of Health on, for example, early detection or intervention before. And then we work, for example, with the Ministry of Education and the private education, or special education they call it. So we can focus. We work with the public authority. We work with the civil society. So we try to work with all the partners so we can really.
One final question to Mrs. Al-Mudahka. What about programs that you are going to adapt in the future to be more efficient about treating these people?
Well, this year we adopt a new program. It's called Bricks for Kids. It's a new program. It's Bricks for Kids. It's teaching the kids through the Lego cubes.
The Lego? Oh, that's
the Lego.
They have a movie about the Lego, Batman Lego. Did you see it, Mr. Shaw? No.
You can search in the YouTube the Lego and the autistic, and you can see the autistic children, how they are working with the Lego and how it's amazing.
And do you know they are smarter than the average person? Smarter.
We have
but they have a problem expressing themselves. That's why they tend to be alone.
Once we have a child, his IQ was 150.
There you go. See that?
And he was
and
brilliant.
The average?
The average is 95 to 100.
100 and?
95 to 100, this is the average.
That's the average.
And he was 150.
50, there you go.
He was brilliant.
See, I have never ever tested myself. I believe we'll be below that. No, honestly.
That child, he was 4 years old.
4 years
and
old.
He used to solve the mathematical solving problem to grade 5. And we brought a doctor from Kuwait University, and when she saw him, she was so impressed, and he said, he's a brilliant.
Okay, what about the movie, The Mercury Rising, for Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin? He has a child with autistic problems. Is it real he can, solve some kind of puzzles or know what really?
It's real like this.
So it's not imagination?
No, it's not imagination. They have their own word. Bricks, it's the word who break their word.
I know. Promise us you come back again, because I have lots of questions, but unfortunately this is all the time that I have.
Inshallah.
We would like to thank Mrs. Hanan Mansour Al-Mudahka, and she has a long title. She's the chairman of the board of directors of Bayruni for Educational Services and Special Needs Services, certified coach by UNESCO and international arbitrator. And also, last but not least, always with us here, Mrs. Sahar Al-Shawa. She's a program analyst. Thank you so much. Well, with this, we have come to the end of this episode. Hope that you have benefited from it. And I hope to see you next week, same time, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Until then, good night.